shortly after Labor Day, I think we're going to get a big announcement from Nikola on who their OEM is going to be. What is going on, guys? I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you are new to the channel, we are doing a giveaway at 100 subs for a $50 Amazon gift card. So all you have to do to get your weekend started right is drop a like, leave a sub, and a comment. Just let me know what the craziest thing you saw happen in the market was this week. There was a lot of wild stuff going on, and you are entered in to win if you do all three of those things. Obviously, markets have been absolutely crushed the past few days, but I don't want to focus too much on that because we know there was a massive kind of like tech bubble or just like sell-off that was waiting to happen. So that's happened, but now that that's happened, I want to turn our attention to some other cool news that I think is right on the horizon with Nikola Motors. So Trevor Milton has been super quiet on Twitter, and he put out today they are doing a giveaway, basically one Nikola Badger for any fan who can guess the OEM that they are going to be announcing here soon. And why I think this is so interesting and telling is essentially the deadline for this giveaway or entry in is Labor Day. So this tells me that shortly after Labor Day, I think we're going to get a big announcement from Nikola on who their OEM is going to be. At this point, I'm comparing Nikola to the other initial EV startups that have entered into the market. And if I'm looking at the losses that Nikola has incurred over the past few days compared with Xpeng, Workhorse, and NIO is another massive one that's a lot of popularity and a lot of fanfare, especially with Robinhood traders. Nikola has seen the least amount of losses out of all of those. So I take that as a positive. I take the fact that, you know, this announcement potentially could be as early as next week, I would say, with an OEM partner. And this is going to be massive. The stock has pretty much found a floor. You have people like myself who are essentially content with holding, right? We're going to hold for a while. The market right now, yes, is a little up and down. Nikola and your other EVs are going to continue to be volatile. In general, I just see this as a really positive sign. Yes, it's obviously Trevor Milton getting back into Twitter and trying to rev up some, hype or interest in the stock, which I think any CEO should really be doing to an extent. Elon Musk does it all the time, and you've got all sorts of, trolls and teases and all sorts of things coming out for potentially like what they're going to do for Battery Day. And I think Trevor Milton's kind of doing the same thing, right? They're going to be making a big announcement soon. Whoever they pick for their OEM is going to absolutely move the needle on the stock. And then they could even go farther and announce a new deal, or potentially who is going to help partner and build all the hydrogen stations around the United States. So if they come out with anything like this, even before Battery Day, you're going to see some decent movement on the stock upwards, unless it's like somebody that you've absolutely never heard of with the OEM and they have no track record or anything like that. Personally, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be a name that you have heard of and that has a reputation for making quality cars. And then also, the other thing is, the only way I really see Nikola stock reacting negatively to any sort of announcement like this is if the broader market in general sells off massively. So if Tesla decides to strip maybe like 25% of its gains and go back to the levels that we saw early July or things like that, that's obviously not going to bode well for other EV companies, because their valuation is really closely tied to kind of how investors view Tesla. Because everything in the stock market, you compare, apples to apples. You don't go apples to oranges. You don't compare Apple to Procter & Gamble. You don't compare Delta to like Tesla, right? They're two different companies. So you compare EVs with EVs, and you compare consumer goods with consumer goods. So in that respect, Tesla is obviously the biggest one of all. So, they're kind of shaping how valuations and everything like that are for these other EVs. So if Tesla has a massive pullback, I think right now you're just seeing a lot of profit taking, and you've got all these calls that, options that people bought crazy amounts. And now it's coming back to bite them in the butt with Tesla. And no stock can just do this number, like 90-degree up for an extended period of time without seeing a sell-off and some profit taking. So unless Tesla continues to sell off massively, I think any news that comes out of the Nikola camp is going to be positive. and it's going to impact the stock in a good way. So I would not worry too much. I bought a few more shares of Nikola today, actually. And, you know, I'm just slowly adding to different pieces of my portfolio. Bought some Microsoft yesterday, bought some Zoom yesterday. You know, I've been continuing to add to my Apple positions, even though I do think it's a little bit pricey still. Even if you want to calculate the stock split price, you just take it for Tesla, multiply it by 5, the current price, multiply it by 5. For Apple, you take the current price and multiply it by 4, and there you have the current stock split price, or pre-split, I should say. And to me, it still seems a little overvalued, still seems a little overrun up. And if you're ever like, you know, oh, it's down, you know, 12%, 20%, just hit the 6-month chart on Yahoo Finance or M1 Finance or whatever, and you can see, yes, it's down the past 5 days, but if you are a long-term investor, like, your returns are still 25, 30% on these companies if you bought anywhere, you know, in the past like 2 months. So your return, don't be greedy, right? That's the one thing we don't want to be in the stock market, is overly greedy. Slowly buy into more positions as you see value. Nikola, for me, is a company that I believe in, and you know, I'm just really interested in it, and I would love for it to become the next Tesla. Obviously, do your research on all the companies that you're investing in. Don't invest in anything you don't believe in and stuff you don't know about or are not passionate in or anything like that, because if you do incur a loss, some companies you invest in, they're not gonna reap the returns that you're hoping for. So be able to live with each of your investments and have it played out in a smart plan in your brain. So that is going to do it for our Nikola update. And before we go, today in history, today the Middle Ages actually began. That is pretty cool. You know, a dark time in history. We have come a long way. We have cars, we have planes, we have rockets, we have so many crazy things that people 1,000 years ago you would have told, and they would have looked at you sideways because they would have no idea what you're talking about. So I hope you guys have an awesome Labor Day weekend. I will talk to you, I don't know when the next time is, but it's gonna be probably early next week, and I will see you guys then.